Hello and welcome to a game of Dota 2. You are watching StarSeries and we are in day 20 of 30 days in total of StarSeries in the group stages, and we're gonna see RoX.KIS on the Dire side, taking on Menace on the Radiant side, and of course, I'm not alone. I am joined by two other people. We have got Menace, who will be providing you with stats inside the game client, and of course my co-caster is here as well. Capitalist, welcome back.
I've determined that I just shouldn't mention the teams, the matchup, or any skill level involved therein, just because every single time I do, it turns out, yeah, it's just completely one-sided. So I'm just gonna avoid that
Okay,
completely,
good.
and I'm just gonna say, I hope this is a good game.
So you say that you're responsible for us watching stomps, right? Hereby do that.
Apparently, I'm also responsible
Hashtag
for,
fire capitalist.
internet problems and Valve shutting down.
Oh, don't bring up that
everything
game.
was wrong.
What could have been, you know? That game.
I had problems with Toby yesterday. The finals that we were casting.
Oh, you're just...
Game 2 took like a half an hour
You're
to
cursed.
get to. I am cursed.
Well, hopefully this game is not cursed. We have got RoX.KIS. We haven't seen them in a while. They have already played quite a few games in StarSeries, though. They are, thus far, or they've played 7 games in total. They are 3-4. So we're gonna see if they can make themselves a bit higher on the rankings, because they've only played 7 games and they've only won 3 games, and now they're 14th in the rankings. And of course they want to be a bit higher. Menace has been playing 9 games, is 4-5, so in a way they're kind of even compared to RoX.KIS, but of course also they want to kind of stay where they are. They don't really have a chance anymore to make it to the top 4, I believe. With 5 losses it's quite impossible, or quite nearly impossible to do that with the scores that some of the teams have, but they don't want to be dropped down further, so they kind of also need to get themselves some wins in. We've got an OD band out as well as a Naga, Siren, Barrider, and Io. RoX.KIS managed to pick up a Visage first, and then Menace, they pick up the new and improved tree, a Baron, and a Weaver. I think this is going to be a dual lane. It's a strong dual lane. We've seen it before, and it's an annoying dual lane to deal with. And RoX picked himself up another annoying hero, because later on in the game, Nature's Prophet is one of the more annoying heroes to deal with if he's actually able to split push.
Yeah, and this is a pretty smart pickup. The Furion here, because you actually have one of the supports already out of the pool. Abaddon being picked up has no disable. Weaver as one of your cores also has no disable, so this is going to free up Nature's Prophet a little bit. Already having 2 heroes on the board that aren't able to stop him from teleporting away, that's going to be pretty important. You don't have any heavy gankers like Clockwork being able to shut him down picked up yet, so good pickup all around, even though I still favor the Abaddon wherever I see him. But here, with the Weaver, very, very strong combo. He's able to get in, dive towers. I mean, you already saw how aggressive Weaver can be once you pick up Lincolns. Abaddon is basically like a free Lincoln sometimes.
Yeah, it just allows you to be so much more aggressive, and it can remove all those disables from you, if there's more actually from RoX, which there should be. I'm assuming that there will be. We've got a Troll and Spirit Breaker band out. Now I have to say I'm kind of sad to see that happen, but I understand that Menace has been playing that, and I normally see them having and Spirit Breaker and Troll on the same team. So maybe banning both of them out was a bit, you know, overkill, but well, better safe than sorry. It's annoying heroes to deal with, and of course Spirit Breaker is a bit of a counter towards Nature's Prophet, because if he is running around the map trying to get a kill or trying to charge someone, Nature's Prophet is normally all singled out by himself split pushing, so it's a good target for that. And especially if there might still be a Lifestealer, which is still in the pool by the way, on the side of Menace as well. You might be having some troubles there. But if Menace is gonna run this as dual lanes, then they need another dual lane. I'm kind of hoping that this will be dual lanes, because I like Abaddon in a dual lane more than in a tri lane. He just can't really get anything else. He can keep his carry safe, but he can't really get that killing potential going, so I'm hoping it will be a dual lane, so 2-1-2, but we'll see. RoX.KIS, they have got an off lane, they've got a support, they have basically not revealed a single thing about what they're gonna do with their lanes. They could still go aggressive, they could go safe, everything is up for grabs here.
Yeah, this is just the power of Abaddon, the fact that you can go aggressive with potentially an aggressive tri lane, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Dual lanes is usually more effective because you want to be able to get that experience out of him. So we're looking at maybe an offlane Weaver with Abaddon being able to sit behind him and make sure he gets farm and isn't ganked too heavily. Lifestealer in the safe lane with another support, and then just a solid mid. And from there, they've got themselves. I mean, you're not going to see both the mids that they want to pick up banned out, which I think will be Queen of Pain and Puck. I would prefer to see them pick up Puck in this next pick, just because of the fact that it's a really good counter to both Lifestealer and Weaver. The instant silence is really, really key. Also going to be able to shut down Abaddon a little bit, so very, very important hero for RoX.KIS to be able to pick up should they want it. And they already need a Lifestealer Nyx Bomb hero, so might as well pick it up nice and early. Deny that opportunity away from RoX.KIS. You've got yourself some good control, dual core strategy with a heavy control hero for your mid, and you know, your last pickup really won't matter that much. Your strategy is already going to be defined from there. The final support is, you know, very, very, it could be pretty much anything you want at this rate. I just think that's going to be a well-balanced strategy that has a lot of spread to it. The lanes are going to be decent for them. They have to watch out for a tri-lane if it goes some sort of aggressive tri-lane up against the Lifestealer and whatever support they're in. If not, Weaver Abaddon should be enough to go up against any sort of tri-lane, as long as you're playing pretty careful with the Weaver and with the Abaddon. As long as Abaddon doesn't get caught out too far forward and Weaver isn't overextended so far that Abaddon can't get him that shield, I think they have a really good spread of heroes.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm a bit surprised by RoX.KIS pickup, because normally if you see Nature's Prophet, you think, well, he's probably going to be offlane / jungle. But picking up a Darkseer here kind of means that one of them is going to be in the jungle / and the other one is in the offlane. But maybe we're actually going to see one of these two mid. We've seen that before. I have to say, I don't like PZZ playing a Darkseer or Nature's Prophet mid. I like him more and more aggressive heroes that he plays. But they kind of say, I think, with this lineup, that they are not really planning on doing anything that interesting in the early game, unless they run an aggressive tri-lane and have Nature's Prophet TP in from the mid lane, like Nature's Prophet mid, Darkseer on the safe lane, Visage, aggressive tri-lane with the two that's still left to be picked up, and Nature's Prophet TPs in to help out there, but I'm not really expecting that to happen, so they're not going to try to do that much here. And oh my god, these heroes of Menace, they have got, like, Lifestealer can infest in Nyx Assassin and Weaver. They've got, like, ultimate ganking lineup from the other two heroes that I just picked up. It's not really a solid dual lane with the Lifestealer and the Nyx Assassin, because you don't really have a range, so you might be getting harassed out of the lane, and especially if you're already up against a Darkseer, like, every single heroes that Menace has, like, Weaver might be a range, but he's still very short range. So every single hero here is going to be annoyed by that Iron Shell for sure. Depending on which lane, of course, Darkseer will be at. But is this gonna be a Nyx Assassin mid again?
This either is going to be a Nyx Assassin mid, or this is going to be a tri-lane. You don't normally like to see double melee, but there is a difference between Abaddon and most other melee supports, is the fact that he actually sits so far back, and he's purely defensive in that regard. So he's purely sitting there waiting for the shield to go off and for you to heal. And you've also got the Nyx Assassin, a pretty defensive support on his own right, who can get aggressive, but he has a spark carapace to fall back on, so he's a little bit tankier than most others. Combined with the Weaver and the fact that you have a range there, and you're also being able to aggressively dive in, Nyx Assassin will set up your stun, while the Athletic Shield will be able to enough for you to fall back on or dive in with. That can be a decent control lane where you're going to be focusing on getting a lot of CS and not necessarily trying to get kills, which you know, can be fine for Weaver. Weaver obviously has no problem getting CS. They can do a little bit of harassment, but don't look for really, really aggressive, we have to get kills, like a Shadow Demon Lina combo or something like that. So if I mean, I personally don't like Nyx Assassin, so I would prefer the aggressive tri-lane, even though it is a double melee. I don't like the Nyx Assassin mid.
Why not? Oh, mid. Oh, okay. Mid. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that one. What's Lark bad? Look at that. Like,
that being said, done.
How would you fit this Lark into RoX.KIS' lineup?
Apparently as your carry with Nature's Prophet in the jungle, Darkseer offlane.
Interesting.
Actually, personally, I would do it the other way around. I would have Nature's Prophet in the off lane until Darkseer hits like level 3 or 4, and then switch.
Okay.
But, I don't know. I mean, I don't really feel that a Slark is that terrifying for them.
No.
I feel that, you know, Lifestealer could stand up against it pretty well. Weaver with his ultimate. Like, you don't have any lockdown from RoX.KIS at all. You've got Vacuum. You've got Vacuum, this is first stuns. Those are the two stuns, well, hard stuns that you actually have. So, Weaver is loving life right now. I don't see Slark, that was their pickup, so I don't know, maybe they just threw away a ban to throw away the ban. They don't really care what's going to happen, because they're just focused on their draft, and I think they have a very strong one so far.
Yeah, I think RoX, we're gonna expect a Templar Assassin in the mid lane, and yeah, they need a disable, so I'm actually thinking Alchemist might be a good one, because they need a hard carry still. Especially if you're gonna be up against a Lifestealer and a Weaver, I mean, you kinda have to have something against that. It's gonna be very tough though, because Weaver and Alchemist are, like, Weaver is gonna win that duel because of his mobility, and Alchemist is not able to hit Weaver, and especially if he gets a Desolator or something, get yourself that minus armor up, it's gonna be really scary for an Alchemist, if it is indeed an Alchemist. It's gonna be a scary game for RoX, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is. They've got a lot of good ganking potential, now picking up the Clockwork, and so that's a Clockwork mid.
Yeah.
That's a Clockwork mid Nyx Assassin support. Interesting. Interesting, this gives them a lot of good ganking potential. I don't think Clockwork is going to have a great time mid versus should be Templar Assassin. That being said, I do agree with your idea of Alchemist. He's a standard pickup, and he's really good in dual and tri-core setups, just because he's versatile enough that depending on how the laning phase is going and how they see the enemy draft and what pressure they feel, you can change up your build really easily. So it allows Alchemist to get very aggressive, like we saw last game, or much more passive and farm-oriented. Instead, Bounty Hunter is going to be picked up here.
I have to say, I mean, we're gonna assume they have a plan, but I'm quite surprised by this lineup. I mean, there's of course a lot of ganking potential here. You can have Bounty Hunter scouting someone out, Templar Assassin if she gets lucky, if she gets a good lane. She'll have a Blink Dagger and you all can TP in, and all of a sudden you got 3 people on your back, and you will probably drop from those 3, but if Menace has a decent laning stage, it's gonna be tough for RoX to come back from that. And I mean, you don't really have the lineup for RoX to say, you know what, they'll win the late game, so they're gonna be fine that, or they have this massive team fight ultimate combo style that if they get that off, they'll win, or anything like that. They don't really have anything that they'll necessarily win. It's gonna be about outplaying their opponent. No pressure, but it's not gonna be an easy job. I mean, already a failsafe there on Menace. They've got themselves an Abaddon, and Abaddon is a bit of a failsafe for everything. I mean, you can get shields and heals, and it's a tricky thing to deal with. Let's see who's playing what though. See how these teams are gonna try to take each other out. Of course, Menace will be on the Radiant side. We're watching once again. We have StarSeries Day 20, Season 7, Game 2 of 5. There we go. Awesome. So we have got Sifla playing the Abaddon. He'll be a support, already picked up that courier and awards. Lapiz will take on the Nyx Assassin, already picked up some wards for himself, so will also be a support this game as expected. Spin will take on the Weaver. And we have Boogie taking on the Clocker, so he'll indeed go towards the mid lane. And we have got Tommy, who's a stand-in for Menace at the moment. He'll take on the Lifestealer. Are you expecting maybe to have an aggressive trial lane and then Tommy on the safe lane, or are you still expecting maybe dual lanes? It's not that easy anymore, but how are you thinking that the lanes are going to happen here for Menace before you introduce RoX.KIS?
Oh,
because they've got a lot of options.
Yeah, if they focus on their own draft, I would say Weaver, Nyx Assassin, and Abaddon in the aggro try, Clockwork mid, and Lifestealer bottom.
Yeah. Because
he can stand up. We've seen Lifestealer versus Darkseer all the time 1v1. It's fine for Lifestealer with his feast. He's able to survive long enough. It gets a little close there around level 4, level 5. He actually starts running out of reach and he starts getting a little bit low. But the moment he hits level 6, all is forgiven. He has that infest to be able to get himself back up to full health. And at that point in time, he just has enough sustainability through high levels of feast to be able to just sit in lane and farm. So that's what I think it should be. but them looking at RoX.KIS's lineup and going, okay, what the hell? Do we need to change things up? Is that going to be a bounty hunter versus the lifestealer instead? And Darkseer, honestly, I'm really confused by RoX.KIS's lineups because they have so many. They have multiple offlaners.
3.
This is the big thing. They have 3 different offlaners.
In theory,
only 1 support.
In theory, you can have a Templar Assassin roaming with Visage because they don't need anybody else. The rest can just solo the rest up. Of course, you're gonna have one of the 2 in the jungle, so in that case, maybe Visage can roam a bit. But it's interesting to see how they're gonna lane this, and perhaps indeed once the lanes have been determined for Menace, as in once Menace sees what RoX.KIS does, we might have some swaps on our hand.
Yeah, that's the big thing is with the prominence of swaps. It's so hard to determine just based on players who's gonna be where, especially with a interesting strategy like this. For example, like Furon can be mid and TA could be the hard farmer at top, and it could be bounty hunter bottom and Darkseer in the jungle. They just have so many different options that I don't know. It's really interesting. Really interesting to see, but it does look like it's going to be TA in the mid still. TA is still in the mid. BZZ has not swapped out of that one. He's their mid player. Nexus is going to be the farmer. He's normally one of their core players, and Yol is still on the Darkseer.
Well, I'm
interesting. Sorry, I completely forget about introducing players and stuff.
Well, that's okay. You just did it half, right? You did.
I know. I was just blabbering. I was just like looking because I've watched enough RoX.KIS games that it's one of the few teams I'm actually able to associate players with certain roles. So that was just me talking that out. But this is really interesting, having bounty hunter being a hard farmer. Yeah. A hard farmer.
I think we've seen it once before. I'm not sure if it was RoX.KIS that actually did it, though. It was successful, I remember, though. But I have to say, Menace draft looks so strong. Oh, Hastrun picked up by the Weaver. Bounty Hunter not there fast enough. In comes a shield, some harassment up by Yol. Bounty Hunter hasn't shown himself just yet. Ken just trying to do something. Now he's invisible again. And Spin with the shield with the Hastrun. Look at how much you can do with that. It's so scary. Looks like we are going to have dual lanes on our hand, by the way. You have Spin and Sifla on the top lane, and then Nyx Assassin still helping Tommy out, but they will be up against the Nature's Prophet, so that will be just fine. Darkseer will indeed be going on the jungle, and maybe they're gonna swap once Darkseer reaches level 3, as you said. Might be something that they'll do. Boogie up against the Templar Assassin mid. I have to say, I kind of favor the Templar Assassin, I think, in terms of harassment, but the moment that Clocker gets himself some levels up his battery assault, I mean, then the refraction of BCZ is not going to be doing that much, and he can't afford to get hit by those cogs either. He kind of, like the change that happened a while back already, of course, but it kind of meant that his, he can only basically put up refraction 3 times before he gets his, well, there we go, before he gets his bottle. And he really needs that, and already now he gets burned away mana. He can only do it once more before he has his bottle, and he's far away from his bottle still. Well, far away. He's still only 3 last hits, which is something that Boogie is going to try to avoid, and he's got himself some cogs again, so can actually harass some more if he wants to. And he picked up Flare rather than the rocket battery assault, which is kind of interesting.
Well, I'm sure he's going to level it after this. You may even see a second level in Cogs, depending on how well he really wants to put BCZ out of mana. But unfortunately, this should be... Normally, I would say this is a winning lane for Clockwork, except for the fact that the prominence of auto crowing. I think TA it should actually be able to come out on top, because level 4 or 5, Templar Assassin is just hitting so hard at that point. Consistent auto crowing is going to keep up your refraction enough, even with the cog burn. So, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's definitely an interesting lane in the very beginning for BZZ. Kind of difficult to deal with those cogs, but either way, it should be a winning. It should be at least an even lane for Menace in mid and bottom.
Yeah, Lipis just gets saved. 1 shield and no first blood for RoX.KIS, who were able to find that Nyx Assassin in the jungle. He warded up the small camp. A bit annoying to y'all, but he'll be fine. He'll be able to still get some creeps, but Lapis fully rotating top, so this is now an aggressive trial lane. Up against Bounty Hunter, they do have 1 extra sentry, so they can try to take him down, but I think for now they're happy with just shutting down his farm, knowing that they'll only have to deal with the Bounty Hunter in late game.
Oh.
What?
Oh, Boogie. I'm actually not sure how he grabbed that, but he was able to snag the bottle, the double damage, away from Yol. Yol was trying to snipe it away from him, and I really thought Darkseer was closer, but Boogie was able to snag that one, put it into his bottle, and that's huge for him because of the fact he's actually burning BZZ's mana pretty consistently, keeping away those refraction charges. That double damage might catch BZZ out.
Yeah, battery sold there as well. I'm not sure why he ate that cog, but this might actually be first blood. Flare comes in comes another refraction though, and now all of a sudden Boogie is the one under assault. Boogie is the one that might actually go down. Is there gonna be another flare? Oh my god, both are so incredibly low. Boogie does not have another flare for 10 seconds. This should not be ending up as a kill. And I think BZZ is gonna try to, of course, you know, try to wait until Boogie has, yeah, because he can kill him still with a flare. Maybe, not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. That Tango just putting BZZ over the edge there. Unfortunately, it looks like Yol's actually going and they're going for the double bottle strategy. I don't think he can do that here. I really don't think he can. I think he just needed to farm up a little bit in the jungle and switch off the Furion, because this is going to hurt BZZ a lot. He needs to completely have complete control of this courier. Like, they have to let him fully bottle crow, because the TA is really, really important for the success of this lineup. They need a really heavy hitter, physical damage hero to be able to go up with the bounty hunter. That way they can start getting a lot of track kills. And this is obviously showing it's a matchup that he can win as long as he's able to get that mana.
Yeah, and you're right, they definitely need him to be a semi-carry later on. They need him to do well here. So if he would have gotten that first blood, that would have been great. He can't really afford to die first. Even though we might have a rotation coming in now. Sifla just placing some wards, getting some extra vision on the map. So far, no kills on the board just yet. I was kind of expecting it still for in favor of Menace, maybe on the top lane, but they haven't really tried to go for it. I mean, as long as they shut the bounty hunter down, it's gonna be okay. Oh, we might have something going on right now though, because Boogie, he activated invisibility rune, as Seedoy is gonna be his target. He has no idea that this is coming. In comes the battery assault, in comes the upper wounds, and down goes Seedoy. First blood on the board, goes away of the life stealer. Very generous of Boogie to give that one away, because he actually moved away before the kill actually happened. Giving that to the stand-in Tommy, who has been doing very nice on last hits, by the way. He's 23 for 2, and that's highest on the map of everybody, even compared to someone who is in the jungle and just getting jungle creeps, aka Yol.
Yeah, this is a really good tactical play there, because now this gives phase boots to Tommy. He hasn't picked it up yet because he's too focused on farming right now, but that put him over the edge for phase boots, and now he's actually a much bigger threat to Furion. Earlier, he was just taking a lot of harassment, so that gank comes in perfect timing for him. He actually being forced to use a bottle just because he refuses to go into the jungle and infest anything. Really needs to do that soon, because harassment from Furion, he's really feeling the opposing phase boots on Seedoy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering, RoX.KIS, we were a bit doubting about their lineup, and they had a plan. I'm still kind of wondering when their plan is going to be set in motion, because right now, I don't know, they're not really getting anything on any of their lanes. The only upside for them is that they actually have someone in the jungle, and that's something that Menace does not have, so they are, in theory, getting 4 instances of farm, while Menace gets 3. But Nexus getting shut down. He's got 18 last hits, which is definitely not bad, but could be a lot better. Of course, he's up against Spin, who's on 32 for 7, so that's a big difference. Clockwork gets himself another kill. It's like they are not even calling out the miss, saying, you know, Boogie has left mid, but that's going to be another kill on the Nature's Prophet. Of course, cannot TP away if there's a battery assault going on. We do have a rotation, though. BZZ coming top, looking for something, looking for a pickoff, finds himself. Spin chasing him down, and yeah, him being forced away. That's gonna be no kill here on the top lane in favor of RoX.KIS.
Yeah, this is the unfortunate thing about Furion. He's just easy to a Clockwork early on. So Clockwork just teleporting down to the bottom lane, using his ultimate to get on top of Furion, and then from there, just Battery Assault is going to give you easy kills. Top, actually, Android may go down. They don't have the slow on Abaddon, unfortunately, which... while I agree with that, it would have gotten them the kill, I think. They may still have an opportunity, though.
Yeah, he came back. That was the wrong choice. Android, he's trying to fly himself away, got that extra speed. There is not going to be enough mana. Actually, he's got 4 stick charges. He could go for Soul Assumption track kill. Visage with the last hit. Lapiz now on the run. Nexus able to get a track out of that one. In comes the Weaver. In comes an Impale, and it does. Bounty Hunter is in trouble. Another Soul Assumption. Oh my god, he kills himself. Double kill for Lapiz. Spike Carapace MVP! Woohoo! Can't believe that actually happened.
Really quick. That was just him trying to reflect the Janata hit.
Yep.
Really well played.
Well
played.
You can feel the pain of the visage, like... Yeah, that wasn't even meant for you. And then all of a sudden
no,
you die.
it wasn't. CS on the board, though, is looking pretty good for the Lifestealer. Probably being able to pick up a treant or two. Extra is where that's at. Darkseer obviously doing really well in his jungle. And other than that, the top farmer being Spin, who is in this tri-lane. So they're doing a really good job with this tri-lane. They're still getting a lot of gold out of it, while also being able to control the Bounty Hunter pretty well.
Oh, and they might have a go here up on Clockwork. In comes the track. Shuriken tosses one more hit. Cedo teleporting in and gets himself the kill. Of course, no Templars hasn't involved anymore because he couldn't pass the cogs. But he still gets an assist, and that's always nice for him. He gets himself some phase boots. And I think shutting down Clockwork might be a good start for them to try and be more aggressive. It is at least the first time that Nexus has left his lane. And track kills are the way for the RoX.KIS to get on top of this game. Track kills is their way to get ahead in terms of gold, in terms of experience perhaps as well, if they can find enough. And they are gonna go for Lapis straight away. In comes the trap, and down goes Lapis. Another kill for the Bounty Hunter. If they can keep this on, that's gonna be a good thing for RoX.KIS for sure. They might have their Visage still dying though. In comes Spin looking for Android. Couple of hits needed. Gemini attack will do it, and that's gonna be another kill added to the board. In comes Tino, sprouts up Sifla. It's not over just yet. Look at this movement from RoX.KIS. They're all over the place. There is, of course, well, the track, there is a shield, but there's still gonna be a kill. Bounty Hunter again. Janata level 4 now. And all of a sudden it's 5-4, and I think all 4 of those kills are track kills? Yes. Yeah, all 4 of those are track kills.
Wow. Well, that's great. I mean, they're finally putting the gold lead in their favor, sitting only at 500. But I still feel that there's going to be a big problem with this Weaver. The fact that Aphotic Shield can take away track. Weaver doesn't have any hard disables really to worry about. Visage Birds, well, if you get hit by that, I mean, I'm sorry, but you probably deserve to die at that point. Vacuum, not much to talk about. Their only reveal is track, which is removed by Aphotic Shield. I still feel that Spin is going to be able to take this and just be such a menace.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's all up to RoX.KIS to keep up the amount of pressure as they just started doing. But they have to continue doing that, because the moment that they let Menace, you know, get a bit of freedom... I mean, we haven't even seen Lifestealer leave his lane. And when Menace gets to play their game, then it is going to be RoX.KIS that will be in some trouble. But they are trying to make something happen. They're actually sitting with 4 people, including Courier also, near the rune spot. I'm not quite sure what they were thinking of doing. They get themselves an illusion rune, which is nice enough, but it was kind of awkward movements from them. But let's see if they can keep up the kills, if they can keep up the gold flowing, as we do have Yol rotating bottom, so he is now up against Tommy. Tommy will be fine though, he's level 10, he's actually 2 high levels higher than Yol. Nature's Prophet, however, I mean, he had a tough lane bottom, he died twice, he has got his hand of Midas, he rotated into the jungle, so as you said, they have swapped around a bit later than expected, but rotating nonetheless. And I think that's a good call. And it looks like both teams are okay with letting the laning phase continue.
Honestly, they really need a Dust at top. I feel that's one thing that's really missing for their aggressive tri lane is, again, Dust and the Prominence versus a Bounty Hunter who is actually slowed below regular movement speed because of that. Yeah. They may pick up a kill on Android, though. Aphotic Shield, if he can throw it over the trees, they should be able to get this kill. In fact, not even needed. Spin just doing way too much damage already. Yeah,
and time-lapse himself away. In comes Cedo, Nature's Prophet ulted. Wow! That's where you really wish you were level 6 about him. Darkseer still goes down, was on the bottom lane, and was taken down by both the Nyx Assassin, who didn't even use his Vendetta for that, but Tommy being the main aggressor there, actually getting himself the kill picked up as well. He's got his armlet, he's got his phase boots, and now we see Boogie tracked up, puts the cogs down, Nexus still chasing him down, still getting slowed down. Perhaps we're gonna make something, see something happen here. There's no mana for the Bounty. I'm quite curious why he's actually standing up on the high ground. Boogie still in some trouble. He is gonna be okay, actually. Nexus is gonna try and chase him down. Nice spike carapace again. BZZ. Chase up the high ground. Lapis, don't chase that. Okay, chase that. Did he just... Yeah, he just... Again, that spike carapace killed off the Visage again, didn't it?
Did it?
Yes.
Oh, it actually might have, because he already threw down all of his other abilities.
Yep.
So
Nyx Assassin just pooed Visage. Yep. Like, that's gonna be your lesson. Don't soul assumption the next assassin. Go for Boogie next time. You'll gotta kill.
Yeah, I guess not. Well, even though they're farming heroes, they're not actually taking a gold advantage because Lifesteal is completely free farming bottom with Infest, and actually now just pure levels. He's now sitting at level 11. He can bounce back and forth between his lane and the jungle and get extra farm there. Weaver's free farming and probably... I would actually dare say that he will never die this game. If Menace wins this, it's because Spin has never died. That's how poor their lineup is versus this hero.
Oh, poor Sifla. He's almost level 6, but he will get picked off before he reaches it. Boogie's still getting slowed down. In comes Tommy. He leaves his lane open. Moons up on Android. He gets tracked up. Now realizes he might be in over his head. Gets himself out of there. Still taking a lot of damage there. Has got the armament, of course, to help him out. In comes BCC, not done just yet. Melt damage going up on Boogie, who tries to run, gets tracked up. Shark and toss, another kill. Nexus dominating right now. Trap, dive, Tommy. Oh, armor toggling might be at the wrong time. Here comes the rage, runs himself up. 3 HP, armor toggling for his life, and he succeeds. He gets himself out. Nature's Prophet on the bottom lane still went down. That's going to be on the kill for Spin. I mean, RoX.KIS is finding these pickups, but as you say, they're still losing things in return. Sifla, you already tried this. You think you should be dead. You're probably dead, actually. Actually, no, he's not. I was never worried. It's fine. Tier 1 tower might be dying,
Never
though.
worried.
Yeah. Well,
Lincoln's gonna be up soon on Spin, or at least he's working towards it. Lapiz has some really good levels on him. The fact that he's level 8 because he's picked up so many hero kills, even though he's died a few times.
yeah.
This is actually a pretty big factor because you've got a lot of squishy heroes, heavy agility, heavy intelligence heroes on RoX.KIS that are very squishy versus the next assassin. He's going to be able to move around the map. You already have the Furion having a hard enough time with Clockwork mid, being able to pick up that early levels to gank him. Now you've got a Nyx assassin who's also in that same position to put the pressure on the Furion. Bounty Hunter, I think they need Dusk, but Bounty Hunter also really squishy hero. If they're able to lock him down before he can get his BKB, which is what he should be working towards after drums, if they can kind of, you know, get some disables on him, burst him down, they only need a little bit. They only need a couple of kills. Bounty Hunter being able to shut him down and keep him away from getting some of those track kills, even just for 30 seconds at a time, could be enough to put them in control of the game, and from there it's just a slow, steady win.
Yeah, and there goes Yol. He gets impaled, killed off, almost got killed by neutral, but infested Lifestealer inside Lapiz. I mean, there's just no way of getting out of that one. And Tommy helping out and actually being dropped on the top lane to get himself some farm. I mean, despite all the kills that have been going on, none of the towers on the map, like on either side, has died just yet, because the pushing power of both teams is just not really there, apart from, of course, having the Nature's Prophet. Oh, Lapiz, you're dead. Not even time to put his Spike Carapace on there. Nice pickup for Nexus for sure. Tommy running himself away. Still has the rage, so he's gonna be fine. He's got face boost as well. He's sitting on 2,200 gold. Still highest net worth hero on the map. Because of those track kills, by the way, look at the net worth. I mean, of course, Lifestealer and Spin on this Weaver are highest, but then come 4 of RoX.KIS, because that gold is mostly track gold, and it's been split so evenly amongst all the people that were there. And of course, Visage has been dying at the start of the fights mostly, so he doesn't really get that much. And he has been, I was gonna say buying wards and stuff, but there's only one sentry ward up on the map, which is just disappearing, so he does. There's no wards up for RoX.KIS at all at this moment, but yeah, still RoX.KIS not doing all that bad. They are still in favor of the gold, 750 gold, which is really not that much, but you know, every little bit helps. Experience graph looking about the same. Ooh, another
yeah, this is something that RoX.KIS, I think they're fine without having wards up. Menace really needs to get some up, combined with counter wards. You can't just let just a regular ward sit there. If you combine it with a counter ward, you can actually see the rotation of the bounty hunter and plan for that. Because that's the biggest part. If they play away from the bounty hunter, if they just avoid him as much as possible, they've won the game. Middle again.
Yeah.
Yol's gonna go down. That infest combo.
It's so scary, and it's so good. I mean, they get kills with it. They shut down a Darkseer with it, who is still building towards his mechanism. I mean, you really would want that for your team if you're going to be trying to, you know, stay ahead of someone else, of the opponent team. You kind of want to have that early mechanism. But he can't get it. He just gets shut down. We do have a Roshan being taken by RoX.KIS, though. Another way to keep being ahead of your opponents, of course. This Roshan will allow them to be a bit more aggressive. In comes a flare, it comes too late though. Aegis goes for the TA. BZZ starting to build towards what I think is going to actually be a Desolator, just to get himself some extra, an extra punch towards the targets that he attacks. I mean, the best defense is good offense, and they really, RoX.KIS really is learning the truth of that right now as they find themselves Boogie. Boogie has a haste rune though. Sugartoss is not going to kill him off. Ooh, almost Nature's Prophet that killed him off with his Nature's Wrath. But in the end, not getting it. Spin coming towards the middle lane, wants to defend his tower. In comes some more TPs. Tommy coming in. Darkseer roll already up though. In comes Open Wounds, Joel. Whoa, vacuum back in, spin, time-lapsing just in time. Nice impale coming up from Lapiz, up on 2. Boogie might still be in some trouble, but Joel getting in some trouble himself as well. Tommy cannot chase him anymore, though. Gets a soul sumption in the face and gets forced out. Whoa, Arnold toggling for his life. Gets himself out. Another good double impale, Lapiz. That's going to be more track kills for RoX.KIS though. Tommy, the last one here, rages himself out, but Nature's Prophet TPing in, has a Sprout in store for that Tommy, if needed. Infest out. But he still goes down. That's going to be 3 heroes going down on the side of Menace. All 3 track kills, and all they lost was a Darkseer for it. That was an insane fight for RoX.KIS. If they can get ahead with this, if they can push down some towers with the kills that they get right now, I wouldn't count them out just yet. Spin still getting a track. Doesn't have time lapse for another 5 seconds. Doesn't. Like, they gotta chase this. This is not. Oh, 1 second. He cannot time. Oh my god! The split seconds that he actually could perhaps time lapse. He was killed off. If he had a hammer. Oh, 75% win rate with Desolator first. Well, TA has a hammer. Cool. Well, it's going good for RoX.KIS.
It is. Couple things. Abaddon. I hate this build. I hate this build. A lot of people get a level of Curse of Avernus. When you're on the defense, like, I don't like it normally, but especially when you're on the defense like this, you just get, I think you really should be maxing out your shield and your coil, because Abaddon isn't meant to be in front. He's not gonna be there trying to get melee attacks off. His whole entire job here is to sit behind this Weaver and shield off the tracks that go off on him, which I haven't seen happen once in these team fights. Weaver just keeps charging in with track on him, and he's just lucky he didn't die in middle in that first part of the engagement. Otherwise, they would have never gotten that Darkseer kill. They never would have gotten anything there. He just needs to shield the Weaver and heal his allies. Whoever is being targeted at that point in time. Just help them live a little bit longer, which frees up Weaver to do a little bit more damage, more chance for a kill. They just aren't playing defensive enough, I feel. They're doing a great job with the ganks, but in the actual team fights, they just aren't executing well against this RoX.KIS aggression. You have to remember, it's a bounty hunter farmer.
Yeah.
Bounty hunter farmer.
That actually doesn't even have that much
a lot of
farm.
aggression. Yeah.
But in terms of like
really
kills, he has been involved in 13 kills. Sorry, I cannot count. 12 kills out of the 13. So only 1 kill he hasn't been involved in. And most of those have been track kills. He's been tracking everybody. And that's so much gold. And right now, after last fight, I mean, it was about even. It was about 700 gold in favor of RoX.KIS. As Boogie finds himself stunned between familiars. Tracked up, sure. Janata, nice blade mail trying to help out, but I'm not sure it's gonna be enough. Ooh, Hook shuts himself towards a teammate. Spin! Lifesaver, he gets a shield and a heal, or at least a heal. In comes Joel though, Darkseer roll gets put up. Nice vacuum! Very nice vacuum. Can he actually kill someone off? Boogie getting slowed down by his own Abaddon. By that Curse of Avernus, down goes the Abaddon illusion though. That's gonna help out everybody escape towards the tier 2 tower, but I'm not sure if they're actually safe there because RoX.KIS, they're all gathered up in the Radiant jungle right now. Oh, Lapiz. Infested Lifestealer once again, looking for Android. In comes the Infest out, Open Wounds, Impale, you're dead. Nice pick off.
Yep, that's what they need. Farm up, you know, let RoX.KIS try and push until they have the Desolator. Well, they actually do have it. BZZ now has the Desolator, so now they have some actual real damage versus towers. But before then, all you had to do was just address the Furon split push and let RoX.KIS try and dive towers. As long as you're ready to TP in, they should just stay spread out and continue to farm and just try and keep an eye on the bounty hunter as much as possible. But at this rate, like, RoX.KIS, they aren't trying to go for ganks, really. They're trying to go for team fights, and I think it's because they feel the pressure of their lineup.
Yeah, Boogie once
Boogie's
again
gonna go down.
Yeah, this time for real, this time no saving grace, no shields, no Abaddon close by. I mean, he needs to be very close to get that shield off, and he's just too far away all the time. We still have Tommy doing okay in the farm. He's picked himself up a Basher, 1700 gold. He knows that he is together with Spin, the ones that are supposed to carry this, but they need more time. I mean, Spin has got his Lincoln Sphere, but he needs more to be able to deal the damage to be enough to deal with RoX.KIS aggression right now. And one of the things that is, of course, important as well is so far, I mean, the towers are even, but it just feels like RoX.KIS have gotten so much more in return for the kills that they've got. Of course, that's not only the trackle that I mean, but just map control. Look at the control in the Radiant Jungle. I'll put that wards up right there. There's only one ward up right now for Menace up on the high ground near the top rune spot. Tier 1 tower attempted for RoX.KIS on the top lane. In comes Lapis with a shield, with an infested lifestealer. Can they find something? Have to walk past the sentry ward, so doubt it. Menace playing reacting Dota. Having to go all top because RoX.KIS was there, no longer in the farming role that they were. Wasting some time.
Still though, Lapis is going to be able to bring the lifestealer bottom, so they're not going to lose any towers, they're not going to lose much gold for that, even though they all had to teleport top. Lifestealer's still getting in his farm. He's got a basher. Honestly, I would say AC first before you go Abyssal. Sometimes you see just straight Abyssal and then AC afterwards. Other times you see the mixed build, and I think the mixed build is most important here. Spin is actually in a little bit of trouble at top. They're going to be able to get the track off, but no, the Lincolns.
The Lincolns. He should be fine. He should be fine. Gets a shield. This time Sifla was in range. In comes the Corxo. That might... Nah, that's fine for Sifla. He's okay. I actually thought they did that slightly wrong. I mean, he threw out the Shuriken Toss with the hope that that would pop the Lincolns, I would expect. But the Shuriken Toss only hits the Lincolns right when it actually hits the target, right?
Right.
So he threw out the track before the Shuriken Toss actually reached Spin. So no track, no kill, and that's the only detection that they had. They placed one sentry ward, but you can't really place sentry wards up against the Weaver. He's way too fast for that. No dust there either. That would have gotten a kill, I think.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, Tommy.
They know exactly where he's at.
Where's your rage, Tommy?
That's gonna be an easy kill.
Tommy should have raged TP out. I mean, he TP'd without a rage. You always should rage. Bit of a misplay there. Track kills.
Really important one, too. Really important one. Earlier, he gets that plate mail. Yep, there he goes. He's going for the mixed build where you go for the AC first before you finish out Abyssal. Because that armor is so important versus this Templar Assassin. All you have to do is survive anyway. Plus, the attack speed given to you by AC is really going to help out the potential for bash procs.
And Nexus finds himself Boogie again. Waiting for maybe Nature's Prophet ultimate to come through. No familiars to help out. Templar Assassin with an Invis rune. They go for a melt damage. It's relentless. He was just standing there.
He had no idea. He was looking at something else, and he was like, "What? My hero's being attacked? Oh God!
Oh God, I'm already dead." Well, unfortunate to say the least. Spin TPing out in the top lane. We still have Sifla here, though. Sifla, who is gonna try to TP himself up, but gets hexed up with the hex and just got completed up by Cedo. So that will be another track kill. His borrowed time already on cooldown. Godlike streak for Nexus. The only time he died was on the top lane when Android died as well, when the double kill was done by the Nyx Assassin. That was very early on in the game, and since then he's gotten 9 kills. It's so scary right now for Menace. They had, I felt like they had such a strong lineup, and they've just... Oh, in they come. In comes an Impale. They might be able to catch him. Well, that's gonna be Nexus's godlike streak going the way of the Weaver. Double kill already. Yol might be dead as well here. Yes, there he goes. 3 dead. Cedo TPing himself out. Boogie's hookshot missing. Well, that was my point. He just completely moved. Spin just got himself an extra. What does he get for a godlike streak? 1k gold? About-ish?
Yeah, close to that. Close to that. And while RoX.KIS is actually really far ahead, that team fight is a good indicator of how Menace is actually still in control of the game despite being very, very far down in gold. And it's because the main source of gold difference is the fact that, like you were talking about earlier, track spreads the gold around. It spreads the wealth. Here, Menace has practically no farm on their Abaddon whatsoever. Clockwork is alright. Nyx Assassin has a Ghost Scepter, but not much to talk about there. The gold is really well spread on RoX.KIS, which is okay for them, but the gold on the 1600 gold, extra gold that Visage has because of track is not the same as 1000 gold on Lifestealer. There's a difference of how you're able to use your gold. Some heroes can have 5,000 gold and only be as strong as one hero with 3,000 gold. So This shows how the gold graph can be deceiving in the way that over a 12,000 gold lead, but Menace isn't really behind by much. There's expected to be a rather large goal difference between these two teams. They have the late game though, and it's already 27 minutes in. RoX.KIS has yet to be able to take down a tier 3 tower or put any real pressure on cracking open the base.
Yeah. I heard a BKB turn on. I'm not sure why BC turned on a BKB. Oh, he really wanted to go for Lapis. Turns on a Spike Carapace, helps himself stay alive for a little while longer, but he'll still probably end up going down. Ghost Scepter not helping out enough. Shuriken will finish him off as Cedar tries to run for it. Spin, chasing him down though, and with his Desolator doing a lot of damage, but more hit needed. Tommy might be able to do the job. Gets tracked up himself. Now Rage is going for Android. He really just wants those easy pickoffs. Can't do it anymore. Tries to go for safety. Cedoy, who bobbed back, misses the Sprout, but it doesn't matter. Soul Scepter comes in, and Android able to finish the job. 3 dead on the side of Menace, 2 on the side of RoX.KIS, with, of course, a buyback. But with track kills, you just can't exchange kills with RoX.KIS at this point. It's just not possible. Not if you're hoping to get out ahead of things.
Now they're going to be able to force the buybacks by pushing in all through mid, probably. No, actually, they don't have their Templar Assassin, so no, they can't push into mid. So that's rather fortunate for them.
Yeah.
Furion attempting to backdoor the top tower, but it's not going to work out for him. Fortunately, he's has a Scythe of Ice, so they're going to be able to shut down the Weaver a little bit, but Weaver at the same time is beginning to hit hard. Once you get that first attack damage item, that's when Weaver really starts dominating the game. You're actually hitting very, very hard when you first initiate with that Geminate attack. This is really Weaver's height of power, is those first 2 pickups after Linken's. After that, harder carries start to outshine him, but there aren't really any harder carries to talk about here. You've got the Templar Assassin. Great physical damage coming out from that, but not a hard carry. Bounty Hunter, early game aggression, going into the mid game looking strong, not a late game carry. Nature's Prophet, but the 3 of them combined are a devastating force, but not enough to take on the Lifestealer and the Weaver going into late game if they have the right execution.
Yeah. And they are a bit on the time schedule here. We do have Darkseer picking up an Aghanim, so he is a pretty wealthy man, I would say. Who has died 5 times this game, so definitely not being coming through this early game on scratch. I mean, we've seen him getting ganked up a couple of times with the Lapis and Lifestealer fighting him out in the jungle and such. And I think they're gonna try the same thing again. Yeah, he infests again inside the next assassin. I'm not quite sure if this is the right thing to do though. Nexus and BZZ holding on. They want to try to find some people. There's still going to be Lifestealer and the next assassin going top as we see Boogie getting tracked up in some trouble. Darkseer already dead. Lifestealer able to pick him off. And in the end, Boogie lives. Lapis getting tracked up as well. Uses Ghost Scepter. Will be staying alive for now. Tommy also backing off towards his tower. And that looks to be a trade that actually goes, like no trade, goes in favor of Menace. They deny their tower, they get a kill, and they don't lose anybody in return. All because of the 2 different locations where Menace chose to fight. Well, I'm saying chose, even though it was really RoX.KIS's choice. Where Cedoy backed off from the tower.
Abaddon. Weaver blew a time-lapse in that team fight that was really unnecessary. He was missing maybe 300 health. Like, he literally wasn't getting hit by anything. You've got an Abaddon to back you up, which should be the main focus, is getting that Weaver. Like, Weaver with survivability and actually being able to have some sort of damage now, that's all you have to focus on. The Weaver will win you the team fight, so as long as you're giving him the shields. Every single time track is thrown, you throw a shield. And Weaver just cannot die. Like, cannot die unless you misplay like that. So, finally, they do get a team fight that goes their way, plus they got the deny, correct? Nice. They got the deny.
Yeah.
That's pretty important. RoX.KIS really needs that bit of gold, even though, you know, they feel like they're just so far ahead. They're almost 18,000 ahead in gold. They actually do need every little bit because the game is going to be very, very hard when they start trying to crack open the base. They need as much advantage as they can because just one team fight can actually put them down quite a bit. It allows Menace to spread out, maybe take some towers of their own. For example, an easy tower to take is that tier 1 middle tower.
Yeah.
They lose a team fight at Menace's base, that tower is going down. Maybe even you see a Roshan when Roshan's back up again. You know, just those small things. RoX.KIS is feeling pressure even though they are very, very, very farmed.
Yeah, it's still. I mean, the time limit is still up for RoX.KIS. They have to be very careful. They have to continue fighting. That's their problem, I guess. Problem, and they're well, something that they have to continue doing. And fighting is still very risky. You have to continue thinking where you're gonna fight. And Menace, of course. I mean, they're gonna expect the fight because they know what RoX.KIS still needs to do to take this game. And so far, they've been able to counter that. They've been able to counter gank. They, of course, have lost some heroes still, of course, but well, it will be still a uphill battle for RoX.KIS. I mean, even though they have an Aegis, they still have the Aegis up on the TA. They can't really go high ground without winning a fight first. They can't really siege the base. That's not the kind of lineup that they have. They have to surprise their enemies and gank them, basically, and then go in. Tommy is about ready with his Assault Cuirass, and that will help out Menace a lot, will give them a bit of extra armor. And of course, right now, there's no hero up on RoX.KIS, apart from a Bounty Hunter that would maybe build an Assault Cuirass. And Bounty Hunter is very far away from that, unless it's sitting in the Courier, which I don't think it is, no. But he has got a Hyperstone. I mean, who else is gonna build those kind of things, right? You kinda, you're a Bounty Hunter, you are normally the person that goes for all the auras, and he is going for that. I mean, he's got drums and Vlads and Assault Cuirass probably then as well, so you can't really go for that hard carry build that you might have wanted to do, since you are the safe lane carry kinda hero. So you need to have the Templar Assassin and H-Prophet do the damage for you. And even though that's gonna be okay-ish, it's not gonna be enough to deal with a Lave Seer and a Weaver, but so far, I mean, I think they're doing the right thing. The question is, can they keep it up? For how long can they keep it up? Like, what item is gonna tip the scales in favor of Menace?
AC, if Lightstealer, yeah, he's about to pick it up sometime soon. That's gonna be a big turnaround because the minus armor on TA is actually really, really big. So not only just on him, gives a lot of survivability to him because you're talking about mostly physical damage at this point. Also, the auras is really important to helping out your allies. Next item for Weaver may actually be survivability, which seems a little strange to say, but you may actually see something like a heart just to make sure that you live long enough, because damage is not that big of an issue when you're going up against such squishy heroes. You've got 1500 health on Bounty Hunter, TA, 1400 health, but you also have Refraction, Nature's Prophet, 1400 health. You don't need to be three-shotting heroes. You don't need to pick up like a Daedalus, which is something that is actually rather good on Weaver after Desolator. You don't need to be three-shotting heroes. All you need to do is be able to ensure that you don't get caught out by bursts of damage, which is what RoX.KIS specializes in. It's beginning to taper off a little bit. Mainly, it's coming out from the TA, though. You've got some disables coming out from the Furion now, which you have to worry about a little bit, which is another reason survivability might be key. So maybe a heart, or maybe he feels if his Abaddon is focused enough, sheep shouldn't matter, track shouldn't matter. So he can go full out damage, pick up Daedalus, and just three-shot a Bounty Hunter or something like that if he gets a crit off.
Yeah, I mean, trusting your Abaddon in this case, I don't think you can do that. I mean, it's an Abaddon that we have, like, not to be mean, but we have seen him struggle a bit this game. Be that he's unfamiliar with the hero, perhaps, or that he just doesn't get the range. Of course, Weaver is a very fast hero, and if you want to try to shield him, you have to keep up with him, and that's going to be slightly, you know, troublesome, I think, for Sifla to actually get in.
Yeah, it is definitely hard in some of these drawn out team fights. It's why a lot of times you'll see Abaddons actually go 4-staff or blink daggers when they're full support like this, is because when they have initiators, heroes like Puck, Weaver, Queen of Pain, any sort of heroes that you just cannot keep up with regular movement speed, you actually need some sort of item to be able to get to them instantly. That way you can stop those disables instantly. And just running, like, if I don't have the greatest range in the world, so just running to a hero who's already disabled pretty much defeats the purpose entirely. So maybe we'll see that item picked up in the future, though he is very, very... I mean, he's the 5 role this game. He's not picking up anything other than wards, pretty much. So Maybe eventually we'll see this if the game starts turning around for them, but at that point it's not going to be a game changer. The biggest thing is I think field survivability on both Lifestealer and Weaver. As long as they can get through those bursts of damage, the meld strikes coming out from TA, we may even see TA build a Daedalus just because those bursts of damage are so important. So if you can get a meld strike with a Daedalus proc on top of it, that's going to cleave through most of Weaver's health by itself. You know, you follow that up with some nukes or disables and a couple of auto attacks, you may be able to secure yourself a kill, and once Weaver's dead, the team fight's over. Like, this whole entire team fight for Menace, like, as strong as Lifestealer looks, and he's got a lot of farm, and if he locks onto a hero, he can kill them pretty easily, he's just going to get kited around. That's what Track Gold does. You've got the slow coming out from Visage, you've got Surge up on Darkseer, Bounty Hunter track, like, they're all running so fast, and they're able to slow down the Lifestealer when he's not raged. He's gonna get kited around. So this game depends completely on Weaver. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Nexus. I mean, he didn't even bother to track that because of maybe he was afraid that the Spike Carapace would be there. But I mean, this was Lapis who just got disconnected, so he was already on his way back to base. Like, that's what you do, right? You know. So yeah, that was a bit of a shame, and Nexus maybe taking a bit of advantage of that. But it wasn't a track kill, so it could have been worse, I guess, in a way. But nice pickup. He's starting off his killing spree, of course, again. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna come down to a next big team fight. Like, if someone wins a big team fight and actually wins a team fight with that, it comes out ahead as much as they can. Sorry, I got distracted here for a second. Then we're gonna see either Menace is gonna take down towers on the side of RoX.KIS, or RoX.KIS is gonna be able to go high ground, and either of those is gonna have a big impact on the game.
Mm-hmm. Furion's gonna be maxed out soon. It looks like he's gonna be going. Honestly, I would think Daedalus. I would go Daedalus if I was him, but this is probably gonna be an MKB. You don't have a butterfly in either one of those tiers, so I don't feel it's necessary. I feel the burst damage coming out from Daedalus much better. But either way, he's gonna go down here.
Yep.
Well played, the carrying dust to gank the Furion.
Yeah, I actually thought for a second, like, the shield of Sifla that he put up on Lapis, it went off before they actually reached Seedoy. So he had a bit of a warning, but he wasn't able to get away. And of course, they came prepared. They had dust. They took him down. Clear kill, and it stops the push a bit from RoX.KIS. That's the main thing for Menace at this game. Delay the game, and killing off Seedoy is probably one of the better things to do right there, because he is a big part of the pushing power from RoX.KIS at the moment. As we're seeing Bounty Hunter also on the hunt, actually. He is moving into the Radiant jungle. He's gonna find Boogie, if he wants, which he does. I mean, how many times have he sat next to Boogie and actually been able to kill him off after? Here comes a track, Sugartoss. He's actually not gonna try and go for it this time. He backs off. Maybe because Cedo is not there, because the previous time Cedo was always there with Nature's Wrath or something like that. Or TA was there to help him out, but he was by himself this time.
And he's going AC,
yeah.
So he doesn't have BKB. Therefore, if he gets caught out from the small number of disables that are up on Menace, if he gets caught out by those, he's dead. Like, and so he knows that he needs to play a little bit passive. He needs to play with his team. He can't overextend by himself, because he can easily just get mobbed down pretty quickly without BKB. So, which is a decision I find interesting, but it plays into their heavy aggression that RoX.KIS is doing here. So I'm okay with it.
Ooh, shut in. Up on Nexus. Is there some kind of follow-up coming here for Boogie? Otherwise, he's totally cut out. No, they go for Nexus. They're able to kill him off. BZZ still trying to make something happen, but he actually loses Aegis. 3 dead on the side of RoX.KIS. Well, 2.5. In comes the Darkseer with a vacuum wall. BKB turned on by BZZ, looking for targets. Now realizes he might have to just run away from this one. He gets bashed right when he decides that, and is invisible on 10 HP. In comes the dust, down goes the TA, I was gonna say, because that would be very unfortunate for Menace if they didn't get that. They actually don't lose a single hero here. Not a single one.
I was pretty sad watching TA kind of tear apart a whole bunch of heroes, but none of them end up dying. For example, Nyx Assassin went down to 15 health just from 2 shots.
Yep.
But he was able to activate Ghost Scepter after that going down to 15 health, and lived from there. So rather unfortunate. It goes to show how Menace can definitely win these team fights. It's going to be telling to see what Spin goes ahead and prioritizes on his Weaver for his next pickup, because he's already has 4,000 gold, which is huge. Lifestealer now has AC, so look for him to finish up his Abyssal, and now then he'll have that guaranteed bash, and he can lock down the TA. So BKB will not matter on that hero. They'll still be able to disable her even through BKB and just mob her down pretty quickly. That's going to be your main target for Lifestealer, is going to be that Templar Assassin.
Yeah. I have to say though, I mean, with the AC, this is the first time that the AC was ready for Tommy. You already mentioned that that might be the item that would tip the scales, and I think that fight might have been the start for Menace to get back on top of this game. I mean, they were almost 20k gold behind on RoX.KIS, and now the gold graph is starting to go back towards the 15k. Ooh, but still going back towards the zero line. Maybe in the end we will see that one. But in terms of experience graph, that's a lot more clear. It drops more than half from that one fight. As we're gonna see Lapis once again roam around inside the dire jungle. They're gonna be fighting Nexus. Can they actually take him down? In comes the Impale. No Impale. There's your Impale. Open wounds. In comes some help though. Yule with a vacuum and a wall. Nexus will still end up going down. Tommy tries to run for this. Hex up for Lapis. They will take him down, but Tommy is of course the better target. And Tommy is the one they really want to have. He can not. He didn't rage again, but this time no hex around the corner because they already used that on the Nyx Assassin, who still went down in the end. Good trade for sure for Menace.
Very, very good trade. Even if Lifestealer had died, as long as he had buyback, which he would have, that still would have been a pretty decent trade, because what they're doing is they're freeing up a lot of room. As you see, tier 2 in middle is being threatened by Spin. He's going to be able to take it. Yeah, or at least he should be able to. I don't think he should feel threatened at all.
Yeah, he comes back. He just really wants this tower. And he's going to be able to no deny coming in. Spin gets himself out with the gold money. The tower money, rather. The tower gold. Gold money. Awkward.
In lineups like this, the tower gold is huge for them. It's expected for RoX.KIS, so denies are really key for Menace, but when Menace is actually getting towers, it's huge for them because they're not relying on that tower gold like RoX.KIS is. They are playing defense, and once you start taking towers, that's when you know the game is about to turn around. That's when you start getting large amounts of gold back for you, you're freeing up map control, you're pushing in the lanes to their side of the river, which means you have freed up your jungle and a lot of room to be able to pick up more items. Weaver is not going to be going for survivability.
No.
Feels pretty content with that last team fight. We're going to see more damage build into what I believe should be Daedalus. Again, no butterflies being picked up for anybody on the team.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Perhaps he feels that the Assault Cuirass offers him enough stability here. And of course the shields, he has faith in his Abaddon. Which is a good thing, I guess. I mean, you have to have faith in your teammates, otherwise it's quite pointless. But we'll see. There's your Assault Cuirass also for RoX.KIS, so that might be at least making it a bit more even, the next fight. That Aura, of course, and stacking with the Vladimir's offering, which is something that Menace does not have up in their inventories. It's gonna still be risky, of course, for them next fight. I mean, they're gonna be crucial, right? I mean, one fight could just end the entire game for if RoX.KIS gets a good fight and they get ended like near the base of Menace, they can actually push down towers fast enough to maybe end the game in that. Although, having said that, I do realize that there are a couple of buybacks off, and more than a couple actually, on the side of Menace. They only have got the Nyx and the Clockwork without a buyback at the moment, and buybacks are going to be more important the later this game goes. We're 38 minutes in, and yeah, one team fight could be your last if you fail it, if you do make a mistake.
Yeah. No, you're entirely right. One team fight will, if RoX.KIS wins it, they'll be able to cripple Menace pretty heavily, and but Menace will still have the opportunity to come back. Menace, on the other hand, I mean, even though they're on the defensive right now, we're getting so close to that turning point that I would go as far as to say that if Menace wins one good team fight, you know, only losing, you know, their 2 supports or something like that, they'll actually win the game because they'll take control of the map, they'll push in. Roshan is actually about to be up, so they may be the next team fight you see. Menace probably feels prepared for a team fight outside of their base, so they're probably going to go defend that one. You already see Rockets going out and revealing the Roshan pit. They win one team fight, they take towers, they get a huge gold advantage back, where RoX.KIS has been leading since, you know, the 9-minute mark or something crazy like that, and they go into they just control the game from there. That's all it takes. As long as you don't make any more sort of mistakes, one good team fight is going to put Menace in the driver's seat, and they should never let go of it, considering their late game advantage.
Yeah, RoX.KIS in the meantime is gonna try to continue split pushing to keep the map advantage their way, to maybe force Menace to rotate to where they want them to rotate to. We do have Lapis once again trying to find a pick-off, but can't really find anybody right now, because it is indeed RoX.KIS that looks to be going for Roshan, or at least they're not willing to give it away. I'm not sure if they're willing to fight for it. But perhaps they're thinking, you know what, either we're going to take Roshan or we're going to take your tier 3 top. Because we already have got Cedo sitting ready for that, who by the way cleared out a bunch of trees here already, but he is still there. He's got himself an MKB. There are 2 Daedalus actually on the map since last fight. We have got, of course, TA now with his Daedalus, but also Weaver has got his finish just a while back. Roshan attempted with the Meld and the Daedalus. This is short Desolator. This is going to be a fast Rosh. This is going to be too late for Menace to do anything about it. Too fast. Not quite sure why they gave that up.
Way too quickly.
Why would they give that
Daedalus
up?
was picked up by BZZ. MKB was picked up by Nature's Prophet. And that's actually probably pretty smart. They do need a mini stun for some of these TPs because they are lacking in disables. So when you have, it's also a good way to proc Lincolns. So having that MKB up on Nature's Prophet, even though I said Daedalus is actually probably the smarter choice, but Daedalus definitely being picked up on TA, that's a better choice there, and same goes with Weaver, who also picked it up. So you've actually got another 3,800 gold. I really think just a Reaver at this point would be so big for this Weaver. I give him so much more health, and every bit of health is sort of doubled in a way because of the fact you do have time-lapse to be able to fall back on. You have 2 lives. That increases your survivability so much when you get a heart on a Weaver. I think it's necessary just because, as you were saying, one team fight is going to change everything. So if Menace is just able to survive through the team fight, even if they lose it but they don't lose their Weaver, they can easily defend towers and push this game longer. Damage may allow them to win team fights easier, but it also makes them riskier. Just the wrong situation. Weaver dies in the beginning, they're dead.
I fully agree. I would really love to see a heart or some extra survivability up on the Weaver. I mean, as you say, he does the damage anyway. I mean, he hasn't got enough damage. It's not like RoX.KIS is super tanky themselves or something. No, they will die if Weaver gets himself the time to attack, and a heart can buy him that time to continue to attack and take down his opponents. Again, Lapis, by the way, Vendetta up, infested up, and looking for a pick-off. RoX.KIS, even with the Aegis, I mean, they're pretty... I don't know, careful. I wouldn't say scared, I'd say careful. They have an Aegis, they want to have a fight, I think that is, of course, in favor of them. But I feel like they might need a pick-off before that happens. Of course, last fight was not in their favor. Oh, Blinken, Impale, Nexus will be the target here, and they will be able to pick him off if they have dust, which they do. There we go. Gem of True Sight picked up as well. Nyx Assassin having that. Nyx Assassin tries to TP himself up, but gets hexed up, vacuumed up as well. That's going to be the gem back on the hands of RoX.KIS. We've seen this trade before. It is still favorable for Menace, but it would have been good for Menace to take the gem instead, because of course that offers a lot of map control for you.
Yep, and same things are happening as last time. Spin started pushing in middle, but there's no tier 2 up, so there's no real point. So he's going to go back, farm out bottom, push that out, get a lot of gold. He's already sitting on 5,400. He does need to keep buyback, which is why I suggested just buying the Reaver earlier. So maybe he's going to wait until he can actually afford the full next item, whether that's heart or even more damage. Either way, wait till he can buy it out and still have money left over for a buyback, because this game is on a very precarious edge, though it's getting easier and easier for Menace as time goes by. You're actually seeing heroes like Clockwork actually being able to work towards their next item. Has a Ghost Scepter and now is picking up a point booster working towards that Aghanims. While it's not game defining in any way, it does help.
Yeah, and it says something about this game as well. I mean, it just goes longer. It's the same thing that you see in a Baden that actually has 2,200 gold at this moment. It's the supports are getting richer, and that was the one thing that we said earlier on. I mean, that's the one thing that RoX, of course, had in favor of them, because that track gold got split up fairly evenly, so the supports were actually able to contribute a bit more than the supports of Menace were. But we're reaching that point where Menace, they're taking down those towers, as said, they're getting that extra gold, and those supports are getting the extra gold. Sifla now has a Force Staff. And as we mentioned earlier, he needs to get that shield up on Spin, which might be tricky because Spin is so much faster, but now he can just Force Staff himself on range and get a shield up on the right target in the right time, and that may be the difference for Spin between life and death.
RoX.KIS knows they have to go all in right now. Their Aegis is going to be on cooldown in about 2 minutes. That's when it's going to get reclaimed, so they need to force a fight here soon because they know they're losing their advantage. They can't continue to just farm up. In fact, they're going to be maxed out soon. So any real farm picked up by Nature's Prophet soon is actually going to be useless. You can sell Midas and replace Dust with a better item and possibly trade in Phase Boots for Boots of Travel if you really want that high amount of mobility. But for the most part, he's already maxed out on damage. Like, he doesn't really get that much stronger.
Yeah, we've got a new item up for Spin, by the way. He chose to go for BKB while still having enough gold for a buyback. Also, Lifestealer having enough gold for a buyback, while on RoX.KIS, the only one that has a buyback is the Nature's Prophet, which you would expect it from anyways. But for example, Templar Assassin went all in with her items. He has, of course, got an Aegis, so she got a second life. Bounty Hunter, 1700 gold. He's quite close to having a buyback. But it needs to be involved in at least one kill before he can have that. He misses 190 gold. Tries to go for some tracks. Gets Lincolns by Spin. Next track will hit, of course, though. Should be hitting. Still some damage up on the tier 3. In comes a track up on Spin. BCZ already down to half HP without popping anything more than just her Manta style. And there goes the Aegis. That's what it does. That's just Spin's damage. He can just do that.
Well, maybe this next push will go better because top is also pushing in. So keep an eye on that. Nice rockets from Boogie.
Yeah, trying to, of course, hold the line there slightly. That's gonna be a tier 3 tower, still getting picked up. Spin. He's fine. I'm waiting for the moment where Clockwork is gonna try to hookshot himself in and where Menace is gonna try to start the fight, because they can't just sit here and look at their Rex go down. Just let some. Oh, there we go. Hookshot up on Nexus. Boogie already gets hexed up though, and he's the only one on the wrong side of the fence. Gets himself shielded and healed, and will be okay for now. Dark Zero goes off Spin, moves into the fight, moves out of the fight after Tommy goes down. Tommy buys back Spin, taking a lot of damage, goes down the crits! Templar Assassin with a double kill. Buybacks for both though, and that's what RoX needed to, well, say bye to them, because they are just heading themselves out. They got 2 kills of the 2 core heroes that were the most important targets that you could think of, and they get themselves out safe.
Yeah, that was a very lucky critical that went off that finished off Spin. That auto attack followed him forever, but when it finally did hit, it was revealed that it was that critical hit. So, wow. This is really well done by RoX.KIS. Really well executed team fight. They were ready for that initiation. You saw they planned this out. And Menace had such good, and I think they messed it up a little bit, but they do have both the Nyx Assassin with the Lifestealer infested inside of him, which we saw was the attempt at jumping on the Templar Assassin. They also have the Clockwork. And they were completely ready for that. With that one Force Staff that they had coming out from the Visage, they were able to completely turn around that team fight. Boogie, I think, had a really failed initiation. I think his hookshot actually might have hit birds, or not at all. Because I looked over and all of a sudden he had started retreating and his cogs were thrown down, didn't have anybody inside of him. But that's one of those sort of things where they need to chain their initiations better. Whether it's at the same time jumping in, or it's counter initiation. For example, Clockwork jumping in on the TA when she's pushed forward like that, trapping her in, and when they go to when the rest of RoX.KIS comes forward to try and force staff her out.
Oh, Lapiz! He's in so much trouble. Lapiz himself goes down, but Tommy was in there as well. Tommy will get picked up and he doesn't have a buyback. That's maybe game.
Yeah. Wow. The throws. I mean, how Nyx Assassin doesn't have buyback either, just through gold. Lifestealer obviously doesn't because of time. This is really bad. Maybe they can kill BZZ. That's their big hope. If they can kill him, they can actually keep RoX.KIS from ending the game. And
Spin
mistakes galore if he goes down.
Oh my god, the Dust is on cooldown. They can't have anything anymore. In the meantime, Clockwork will still go down in the mid lane. They were chasing him down and they can't really... Oh my god, that crits! Jeez, that's so painful, Sifla. His ultimate popped. BZ will be able to pick him off. Down also goes TA though, but Spin is the only one left alive, and how can he defend here? The Rex are under siege, Templar Assassin buys back, and this is going to be a tier 3 tower, and I think even more in favor of RoX.KIS. They have a lineup that we said, like, you know, it's a bit risky, But if they get this, they making it work. Oh, Spin turns on his BKB, tries to run from this one, but the Janata still goes through, and that's a kill. That's gonna be a team wipe. Only Nyx Assassin left alive, and Nyx Assassin dead again. The GG got called. Menace loses here with their multi-core lineup up against a, well, if it started out as a single core lineup, but ended up being a Templar Assassin that was a core. I have to say, I'm impressed. I was not expecting RoX.KIS to take this one.
Well done, really well done. I think that RoX.KIS just outplayed them. Like,
yeah.
That was just execution towards the end there, and well done. I mean, if you feel comfortable being able to take this late, and they obviously did, like, they didn't go in for, like, all-in pushes. They felt like, you know what, we're going to take our time, get a little bit more farm, and they were able to execute in the late game, and that's all that really matters. So, well done by RoX.KIS.
I agree.
Excellent play.
And of course, this game lasted quite a bit longer than previous games. We were already slightly behind schedule, but we're now definitely behind schedule. So, of course, because of the breaks that we've had, or the pauses, we're going to head ourselves to Quantic vs. Ubos, which will be our third game of 5 for today. So stick around for more Starlight action. We'll be right back.